Hi everyone, today in Integrated Math 2 we're going to go over Chapter 9, Lesson 1. Here are the objectives. Make sure you write them down in your notes. Alright, so first thing we want to learn is how to write and use ratios. A ratio is a comparison. That's a key word that we want to remember. Of two quantities using division. The ratio of quantities A and B can be expressed as A to B, or A divided by B. So any of these, all these are considered ratios in different ways to write it, all meaning the same things. But notice this key part here, this is where B cannot equal 0. So in this case, you cannot A divided by 0, can't have that. Ratios are usually expressed in the simplest form, meaning reduced as much as we can. So the aspect ratios 3 to 18 and 16 to 9 are equivalent. So let's check this out. So remember, we can rewrite this because A to B is also A divided by B. In this case, 32 to 18 is also 32 divided by 18. And so 32 divided by 18. And we can divide both of these numbers by 2. Half of 32 is 16. Half of 18 is 9. And I can't reduce it any farther. Then we're trying to say that they are equivalent. So 16 to 9. Well, 16 to 9 can also be written as 16 divided by 9. These are equivalent because they are equal. And so we know we're good. That these ratios are equivalent. Then we want to use properties of proportions, which means an equation stating that two ratios are equal. So when they're equal, they are called a proportion. A proportion, A divided by B, equals C divided by D. The numbers A and D, so the ones across from each other, are called extremes of the proportion. And the numbers C and B are the means of the proportion. So as you can see here, it's nice and color-coded for us. A and D, extremes, and B and C are our means, which we'll go over in the next slide. So, cross-product property. In a proportion, the product of the extremes equals the product of the means. But keep in mind this special piece here, B cannot equal 0 and D cannot equal 0. Very important that we remember this. So our example here, 4 divided by 10 is equal to 6 divided by 15. Let's double check this. So you might remember this one as it's going to form an X. So here we have 4 times 15. And then here we know these should be equal to 10 times 6. Here we have 4 times 15, which is 60. 60 is equal to 10 times 6, which is also 60. Perfect. Remember, these should be known as your extremes, and then these ones, so in this case, B and C, should be known as your means. Alright, so now we have equivalent proportions. The following proportions are equivalent, which also means equal. So here's some possible combinations here. So I'm simply going to write the first one. A divided by B is equal to C divided by D. When we do the cross product here, we get A times D is equal to B times C. So, and then if you look here, and we do the cross product with each of these, we're going to get the same thing. A times D is equal to B times C. A times D is equal to B times C. A times C is also equal to C times B. These are all equivalent because they are all the same. So we know they are equivalent proportions. And there we go.